welcome to the Blue Jays Today Show. We're going to talk about everything going on in the MLB and the Toronto Blue Jays. A little bit of a bittersweet day for Blue Jays fans. Incredible week. Fantastic from the team, but we saw some holes and some problems go down today in the 10-8 loss against the Mariners, and because it's against the Mariners, and because it was kind of a blow-up by the bullpen at the end, I think there was a lot of people triggered from last year's playoffs. So we got to talk about that and a lot more. I'm your host, Nicholas Playalaga.
Yeah, I'm your host, Adam Peddle. It feels like every week it's like this, man. We have a great week, and then right on Sunday for this Blue Jays Today show, it's like, oh, well, that's kind of ending on a sour note. So, like,
annoying, man.
I know. And then we have to, like, title the video something relevant, like Bass. Like, you know, obviously the video's titled Blue Jays Today Show, but the thumbnail is like, oh, Bass, this isn't good, you know, because that's what's on the minds of Blue Jay fans. And we're going to look at Twitter a little bit and take some of your comments that y'all are saying online, not us. This is what y'all are saying. We're just echoing what the internet thinks about the Blue Jays bullpen situation and specifically Anthony Bass. But like we usually do on the Blue Jays Today Show, we got a bunch of MLB stuff to talk about. Yeah. So let's get right into it, Nick.
Let's do it, man. These tweets came out earlier this week from Jeff Passan, and frankly, it is just ridiculous. Now, I think this is like a day or two old. Yeah. So these are like a little bit outdated, but I mean, not really. These are the records by the division, and it is very clear that something is going down in the AL East right now. When you look at those numbers in brackets, that is the winning percentage by the division, man. Mm-hmm. That is insanity.
Oh, I mean, I think the new schedule is kind of showing light to everything, because that's why everyone's so focused on these divisional records, right? Yeah. And we're going to look at some more that are even going to amplify that even more. But we all, like, I always knew the AL East was the hardest division, but then, you know, you had the NL East, they had some good teams, the NL West, they have some good teams, right? And obviously the AL West has some good teams, but I always knew the AL East have the most skilled, the most talented, the toughest teams to face in the entire MLB. Now, this is just general record, but then if you go down here, out of division record, this really shows, okay, when we're not beating each other up and like lowering our win percentage by beating up each other in the AL East, what do we do against the other teams? Even better. Yeah, even better. A 691 win percentage. We murder other teams. So when we're facing other teams outside the division, like we did this week, we dominate. We go 5-1 as the Blue Jays.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I do think that this year it's even especially more so, because you have the Baltimore Orioles finally becoming a team that, you know, can actually compete and be good. And even Boston, potentially arguably the worst team in this division, they're a 500 or maybe even better than 500, right? So I think that everybody in this division right now is at just such a great place as a team, and that's why you're seeing just these ridiculous statistics. Mm-hmm. On the flip side of things, the AL Central sucks,
dude. They really suck. They suck this year. I thought they'd be a lot better. I think it's because the White Sox are really dropping off, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you got the Guardians there, right? I mean, well, let's even take a look.
You can take a look at the records right here, man.
Guardians, they're not off to a great start. Twins are doing good, right? I think it's what everyone kind of expected from the Twins. Probably a good start for them. But the Tigers are just god-awful. The White Sox are lost. The Royals are not competitive at all. Like, this is horrible. And because they're facing other teams inside the division, you're going to get some pretty skewed numbers here that you haven't seen before.
Yes, absolutely, man. And right now, if I'm the Minnesota Twins, I'm loving life. Because we are, like, this is just a cakewalk to the finish, man. Chicago White Sox, they've already given up. I don't know if you guys saw that one, could have been single from Louis Robert.
Oh my God.
That he just, kind of sauntered to first base, got thrown out, and had to get benched for it. Like, that's him giving up.
Yeah, now I didn't know, like, were people saying that he was injured? People were saying that on Twitter, but, like, I don't know. Is he?
Well, okay.
Is he in the lineup today?
Listen, regardless of if he's injured or not, that there is still a cancer on that team. Because if he's injured, then it's the coach. You can't play your guy if he can't run to first base.
He got injured in that play or something. That's what happened.
Okay, well, if that's the case, if he got injured in the swing that did that, then yeah, like I guess then that would be okay on his part and whatever. But then he got benched for it.
Yeah, because he may have been injured. But that's what I don't know. I have no clue. I have no clue.
Comment down below then, guys. Either way, I think it's fair to say that the Chicago White Sox have effectively given up.
That. 0-10.
0-10 in their last 10. Now, I will say they did actually just have a blow-up inning against the Rays. And they did claim their first W. So if we refresh, then they'll probably be up there right now. So, shout out to them for being 1-9 in their last 10, so that's something. That actually reminds me of a great statistic that I saw on Twitter today. We can flip over to the NL very quickly. Miami Marlins are quietly doing work right now. They're quietly doing work, and they are this year's Seattle Mariners because they are 10-0 right now in one-run ball games.
Ah, yes.
10-0 in one-run ball games. So, I mean, credit where credit is due. The NL East is always going to be a tough division. That's probably number 2 on the power rankings of divisions is NL East. And if the Miami Marlins can actually, continue to be a squad, then wow.
Yeah, this actually shocking me because I don't look at the division as a baseball podcaster. I don't look at other divisions too often. I really focus on the Blue Jays for sure. But when you look at this is again another product. A, it's early for sure. We all know this. Blah blah blah. Say it 1,000 times. But B, this is a product of the schedule. Facing other teams. Marlins, they made some good moves this offseason. Yeah, they traded away Pablo Lopez. They still got great pitching. You acquire a batting champion in Luis Arias, who's popping off.
Phenomenal.
He is popping off right now. That's the offense. That's the spark plug that you needed for that team. And look at that, 16-13. They might actually have a run at it for the wild card during this season.
It's not impossible.
You know what I mean?
It's not impossible. The Phillies are beaten up, and yeah, the Marlins, they're kind of. This is an interesting division because this reminds me a lot of the AL East last year. Where there is still kind of one team that's not really competitive, but there are 4 squads that are going to be around 500 and higher. The Braves, they're going to push 100 wins. The Mets are probably going to push 100 wins too. I don't think the Phillies are as bad as they're playing right now. I think that they are going to continue to be a solid ball team, especially when Bryce Harper can return and be elite at baseball again. They're going to be a solid squad. So if Miami wants to pull a Baltimore Orioles type of season and flirt with the 500, maybe even higher than that, yeah, it's going to be a tough division for them.
Yeah, and if you look at the NL West while we're here, looking at the Diamondbacks, they're actually up there competing with the big boys like the Dodgers and the Padres. And, in the back of my mind, I'm anticipating them to not stay here for too long.
Can't be.
You got to imagine, look, their last 10, they're 5-5. Dodgers and Padres are getting off to a slower start. But you got to imagine they're going to take over. But I think that their potential is still chilling around 500. But they could prove me wrong. Corbin Carroll, I don't know if you see his inside the park home run last night.
He's phenomenal.
He flew around the bases, folks. He's a speed demon. It just bounced off the top of the fence, came back and play. That was enough for him to circle all 4 bases.
With Jordan Walker being sent down, it almost feels like free money to bet on him for Rookie of the Year. In fact, I'm surprised that I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, well, I haven't. Yeah, because the odds are so favored.
Literally, I should look into that directly after this podcast, guys, because with Jordan Walker being sent down, Corbin Carroll is the clear favorite, and those Diamondbacks have been running over everybody. All that being said, though, clearly AL East is competitive as all holy hell.
It is.
But one team so far is not totally living up to the hype. And you know what? I hate to twist the knife when it's already in there, but the Yankees got smoked today.
They did, man.
And as a Blue Jays fan, as a Blue Jays podcaster, it is a good feeling to see the New York Yankees lose 15-2. Now, I wish it wasn't to the Texas Rangers, because they're also a team that I don't like very much. They're also a team that I don't really necessarily love. But still, when you beat the Yankees 15-2, okay, respect.
For me, I'm looking over at those Rangers, and I see them completely different, obviously, than I saw in 2015, 2016. But I look over at them, and I'm like, they're making a big statement, right? You go back here, and you look at the AL West that's kind of all out of shape. They're on top of the world. They're taking advantage of the Astros, taking advantage of the Angels. Don't mean to change the subject, but just to comment on them right there. They're doing good stuff, and I'm going to fear them come to September, come October.
Yeah, now I will say, just while we're on that, Jacob deGrom, 15-day IL, that's not huge. A good place. That's not, nobody's happy about that.
Did we expect that to happen?
kind of.
I kind of expected it to happen.
At some
It's
point,
been happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
At some point, you kind of expected Jacob deGrom to hit the 10-day, 15-day IL, whatever it is. Something about that dude, clearly conditioning is just not working. So personal trainers, everything, like, you need to talk to him, you need to deal with that, because he's such a phenomenal talent when he's on the field. He just cannot seem to stay there.
Right.
Yankees, though, to get back to where we're at here, they're 15-14, and I love this so much. They are tied for fourth.
They're tied for fourth with the Red Sox.
And what's so horrible about that is that we play the Red Sox next. And it sucks, because now we're gonna need to beat the Red Sox.
Yeah.
But it's almost, even if we lose, it'll be nice. Even if we lose, there's a chance that the Yankees could be last in the division.
Right. Well, I got a comment here from Red Bull Insider RBI, who is a big Yankees fan, saying that the reason why they're struggling is because they're really, really injured. I mean, that is the game. We as Blue Jay fans have been blessed to not have any injuries so far. It's just been Adam Simber, but guess what? One of our former top prospects comes up to replace him, so it doesn't feel like a big loss in the end of the day. Whereas I know they've been dealing with a lot of injuries. Obviously, Carlos Rodon, they have a lot of their injured guys on their player positions. But again, you still have some of your big boys, but they're not doing as well. And if the Yankees that we all projected aren't doing as well, do you expect them to get back into this race now that the Blue Jays, the Orioles, and the Rays have kind of taken over this division? Do you expect them to come back?
I absolutely think they're going to get back in the race. I mean, Yankees are better than 500 ball, which they're almost playing right now. They're definitely better than 500 ball, and Carlos Rodon's a special player. Garrett Cole is going to win Cy Young this year with the pace that he's going on right now. So I do think that they're going to pick it up, but their lineup needs to hit a lot better than what they've been hitting. Their lineup is bottom half in baseball. If we look at their team OPS right here, they're ranked 24th.
Yeah.
That's not good.
677. That is not a Yankee way.
That's definitely, I mean, Oakland Athletics. Oakland Athletics have a better lineup than you do right now. And that's not something that you want to see. Rockies, Reds, Athletics, not good. I do think that the Yankees are way better than what their record, suggests, though. And there is going to be a month where they pop off. Now, the one thing to note, though, is that you got 3 teams that are ahead of you that don't seem to be showing any holes in any aspect of their games right now. Maybe minus Anthony Bass, but we're gonna get
into that.
But these guys, one team out of those 3 is not gonna slow down. One team out, I don't know if it's gonna be Baltimore, I don't know if it's gonna be Tampa Bay, I don't know if it's gonna be Blue Jays. One team's not gonna slow down, and there's gonna come a point where, whether it be 10 wins ahead, 15 wins ahead, where now, if you're the New York Yankees, you're out of the division race. You're playing for wild card.
And here's the thing: I think the entire AL East is going to in that wild card race the entire season long. We just talked about the AL Central. With the new schedule, I'm going to bring up once again, with the new schedule, you're going to have the AL Central face a bunch of great teams and get absolutely punished. I know it's early. I'm not overreacting, but come on. Can you look at that Chicago White Sox team and Kansas City Royals and Detroit Tigers and really think that they're going to do that well? No. And guess who's going to beat up on them? The AL East is going to beat up on them. So I while it's early and yes, they're 15-4, I don't think that's going to be a problem. They're going to come right back into it, and all season long, it's going to be the AL East winner or the leader is going to be locked into that spot, and then the 3 wildcard spots are going to be the other 3.
Right.
And I know that there's going to be a fight, because if Boston's going to do well, there's going to be a fight all around that final spot for that final wildcard spot.
It's not impossible. It's actually not impossible to have 4 playoff teams from the same division. Now, I don't think that's going to happen, because when you do look around the AL East, you still have Houston, and they're going to be better than what they're doing. Right?
Yeah.
You still have the Cleveland Guardians, and I think that they're going to be better than what they're doing, right? So if Texas, Houston, and the Guardians and the Twins are all competitive, it's impossible to have four teams from one division. But I would be shocked if we don't have at least 3 playoff teams from the AL East. 3 playoff teams, probably a repeat from last year from the AL East. I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree. But it gives me a little bit more comfort when I think about this different schedule, where it's like, okay, now it's not so much, all right, well, all we got to do, we really got to take care of this Tampa Bay Rays series right here. Like, this is huge. Like, we got to really win this season series. Like, now you could lose the season series to the Tampa Bay Rays or the Orioles, but you can go beat up on the other division, and be okay with that.
Yeah, if we play the Tigers next week, then I'm all good.
Exactly.
We gotta do that, right? So, Yankees. if I was a Yankees fan, I wouldn't be sounding the panic button yet, but you definitely want to start picking up some dubs, considering that the Tampa Bay Rays have 23 right now. That's
gross.
A lot.
That's gross.
Let's move on to some Blue Jays stuff right now, guys. Let's flash. Let's go.
Let's go. Okay, guys.
Dive right in. Get the tweets up.
You're looking at the title right now. You're looking at the thumbnail. Anthony Bass today. He did not do well. He's been not doing well for quite some time. I mean, he gave up 2 runs today. A big part of the Mariners' comeback now wasn't all his fault.
No.
I mean, it was an entire bullpen collective. Mariners getting hot at the right time to win this final game. But obviously, that's a sour note in our sour taste in our mouth right now. So we got to look at Twitter. Yeah. We got to react to what everyone's saying.
So
Spencer, shout out Spencer. I love Spencer's Twitter account, by the way.
It is pretty
big
funny.
Shout out.
Yeah, it is pretty funny. And when you look at his impossible to find any positives in Anthony Bass MLB Savant page, flight attendants fired percentage, that's pretty high. Blog TO articles, that's pretty high. So I mean, he is putting up numbers in that regard. All the metrics that do matter though, with walks and Ks and expected batting average, that's all pretty bad. If we move on to Scott's tweet over here, smacking our head against the pillow, the wall, whatever.
At least
it
it's
wants
soft.
to be.
It's not that hard. I mean, at least it's a comforting smack.
Yeah.
I guess that's a positive there.
That is positive there, and that's kind of Anthony Bass' season so far.
Yeah.
And then to cap it off here, we got another good one here coming from Johnny saying, in all capitals, "Get ready to learn Japanese, Anthony Bass."
Wow.
And I think that's alluding to where he could be headed if it does continue. Let's take a look at the numbers ourselves, though, and we can kind of decide if this is a big problem. Is he gonna be sent down at some point? Like, what do we do about Anthony Bass?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a great start to the season. It is 10 games. Again, we've been getting a lot of y'all are coming after us saying, don't overreact. I'm not going to overreact. It's 10 games. It's not a great start. But what I've seen with my eyeball, you see the numbers right there, 7 ERA, not good. But what I'm seeing with my eyeball, and this is the true baseball savant, not the one from Spencer, but if you see with your eyeballs, you're seeing what the numbers are putting up. He is putting the ball right in the heart of the plate, hittable pitches. There's no command here.
Right.
Where's the sinker going?
Why is the sinker that high?
You do not throw a sinker ball up and in to lefties.
Yeah.
Onto the barrel of the ball. You don't throw the sinker up and in or up over this part where it sinks right into the barrel on the lefties or into the sweet spot on the righties. The slider, I mean, yeah, it's down there, but that's still a hittable pitch. In regards, like, you got to get it down here more. You got to throw it more off the plate. We saw the slider. You know what got hit today? It was a slider.
Yeah, right there.
Right there. It was right into the sweet spot. You got to miss. Oh, wait. When you say middle, right, you're obviously talking about the middle heart of the plate. But even just middle is still a hittable part. Middle, up down the center of the zone.
Well, that's where your barrel is.
In the barrel. That's where you can get your barrel. That's where you can get the sweet spot. So that's middle. That slider's missing middle. This has no command.
No.
We're falling behind.
Which he's throwing 40% of the time.
Exactly. We can pretty much eliminate these pitches. These are all over random. But these are the pitches you got to look at. So when you look at it, and the numbers show here, he's just not having any command. He's falling behind, and he's giving them middle pitches to smack. Right. Which is what's concerning me with Anthony
For
Bass.
sure. And I mean, we've seen Anthony Bass. His career has kind of been like a bit of a roller coaster. Last year was phenomenal, but those are career highs for him for sure, right? Those are career highs for him. Now, these are obviously kind of career lows for him. Like, I don't think he's ever had a season where he's finished this bad before. Yeah. But I mean, last year was absolutely phenomenal. So this obviously begs the question, is he falling back to earth, and can he be a guy that can even be relied upon? Now, I want to come out and say, and just, take a little bit of the weight off Anthony Bass, because everybody's pinning this loss on Anthony Bass, Well, you had Zach Pop give up a run, and you also had Jimmy Garcia give up a run, right? You had both of those guys give up runs, so I don't think it's just on Anthony Bass. I think more of a conversation actually needs to be had about the lack of depth right now in the bullpen, and the fact that we are so top-heavy. And what I mean by top-heavy is after Romano and after, Swanson, right? After those guys, there is a steep drop-off in talent that occurs. Tim Meza, frankly, I don't know why he did not play today.
I know,
I have no idea why he didn't play today. That is a questionable decision.
Yeah.
So shout out to Tim Meza. I don't want to take anything away from you. But it's very clear that, the back half of the pen and Jimmy Garcia and Bass, now they're the back half, even though they shouldn't have been the back half, now they're the back half. They are far worse so far than the elites. And today, when we didn't have the elites going, we saw what happened. Every single one of them struggled, and then the Seattle Mariners clawed their way back in the game and won 10-8. We need to do something about the depth. That's what needs to be done here.
I think, honestly, I'm not going to sound the alarms just yet. I'm staying patient, because when I look at this team right now, when I look back at these numbers, the whips are still, obviously Swanson's whip's amazing. Garcia, 1.13 whip. I take that. I take that. Zach, Pop, whip of 0.97. I take that. He's obviously gotten hit for a high slug. That's why the ERA is all inflated. That's why Jimmy Garcia's ERA is all inflated. Romano's obviously great. Trevor Richards has been a surprising welcome to this team. He's actually doing well. Even though he did give up a run today, he's still doing well. These are all fully updated to today. 3.18 ERA. Even the ERA looks nice. Whip looks good. Simber, hopefully got to get him back. Bass, though, this is something I can pinpoint. Yeah. That's a 1.78. It's struggling. So for me, what I'm going to do right now in April and May is you're demoted now. We gave him a chance to come out and put up a 0 in the late innings and be a hero for us, but he can't do that anymore. Now, people are calling me crazy, but you got to literally move him below Nate Pearson in terms of the pecking order. You know what I mean?
I know, I agree with you. I do think that Anthony Bass is his leash is now kind of got to get pulled back. Again, I have no idea why Tim Meza was not pitched today. I think that that's kind of just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And agreed, we're seeing some comments in the chat right now. Why bring up Nate Pearson if you're not going to use him?
Yeah.
And I do think that, yes, some of those conversations now about Anthony Bass's leash needs to get pulled back a little bit. I think you can start to have those conversations about Jimmy Garcia, because for some reason, even though the whip's not super high, people keep hitting him. They keep hitting him. So yeah, something needs to be done here, because we can't just rely on Jordan Romano and Eric Swanson. And this week we walked away with 5 W's, which is phenomenal. But the credit is the starting pitching, because they were giving us 7-8 innings, and then you had the luxury of just going Swanson Romano.
Yeah.
Swanson Romano.
Yeah, we went Swanson Romano in the last couple games before this. And obviously there was other pitchers that came in as well. Richards came in, had a great week.
Yep.
Pop had a great week before the big blow up. A lot of guys came in and had a decent week. But it's because they went 15 innings. Obviously, not all that is Swanson and Romano. Actually, 6 1/3 of that is Swanson and Romano. So you do have a good chunk. Still, the other bullpen doing well. But today, obviously, it's a sour taste because we just did not come up clutch. All of them kind of just fell apart.
Yeah.
Seattle Mariners have that effect on us, apparently, where they just blow up our bullpen. But in terms of right now, what are we going to do? Let's wait. Let's be patient. Let's wait. We got to get Simber back, obviously.
Well, when Simber comes back, does Bass go?
Well, that's the thing. You're going to DFA him. That would be it. Or
that's what Sophie's calling for in the chat right now. Because you could, these are the decisions. Do you DFA a Bass when Simber cooks? Because obviously Simber is worthy of a spot. So Simber's going to come back in a week or two, and he's going to, be on the squad. Does Pearson go back down? Or does Bass, who's got almost a 2 whip, go away?
Again, I've seen it time and time again how the Blue Jays like to play it. They'll hang on to those relievers until it's almost cut time, meaning trade deadline. When it's coming in 2 months after, getting into that 3rd month, and it's okay, we're starting to figure out what this player is, then we'll cut him. Right now, again, it's 10 games. I don't want to cut a guy after 10 games. After we traded for him, after he did so well for us last year, I'm not cutting a dude after that. Right? Even though it is looking bad, you can't do it. That's just not a smart decision.
Yeah. And I do agree in the sense where just from how much you had to give up to get him.
Exactly.
It's it doesn't even make monetary sense to get rid of him this early. I do think, though, that, his leash needs to be lowered for sure. And I also kind of feel bad in the sense where it's I hate having to send Nate Pearson down again. Because it's this guy just keeps coming up, and and it's I think he could be good.
Yeah.
I think he could be good.
But that's the thing, it's you have the flexibility with Nate Pearson. You have someone in the chat right now, Strike, saying we can't send him down, can't send Bass down. You can't, because he doesn't have the options.
Yeah.
It's a DFA or he's on the team. That's what happens with these older players.
Yeah. He is 35 years old, guys. So, he's definitely an older dude. And I guess in that regard, you could start to have the conversation. Well, he is 35 years old. That's gotten up there.
Right.
But, this is still very early. We probably got to put him in some lower leverage positions. If he keeps struggling there,
then
could be time to go.
End of May, June.
Could be time to go.
He's gone.
I could definitely see end of May.
End of May, if he's still doing this, yeah, I mean,
Simber's back healthy. 35. Nate Pearson's in the minors doing good. Yeah, end of May. That's the timeline, guys. Let's move on and talk about the trade that went down today. I gave my 2 cents in the minute monologue early, but I really hasn't got to speak on it or even look at it. Tyler Heineman back on the team, catcher. Buddy has he's had 9 AB so far this season, so literally nothing at all. And what's kind of ridiculous about this trade, and this is what I brought up in my thing, and a lot of people were like, yeah, this is kind of nuts. It's like, we gave this guy up for nothing. Pittsburgh Pirates just picked him up off waivers, and now we're trading away somebody to get him back. And we're trading away a guy who is 5 years younger than Tyler Heineman. Granted, 6 years younger, actually. Granted, the guy that we're trading away, he's not one of our top prospects or anything like that, but he's 26 and has multiple, tons of eligibility. So it is kind of silly when you think about it.
I hear what you're saying, yeah. I mean, I'll give my 2 cents. I'll play a little devil's advocate for the Toronto Blue Jays right now. I mean, you give away Vinny Capra. We know how good and how much potential he could have had. I mean, he had a great spring. He had a great spring with the Blue Jays. He had multiple RBI games. I remember that. And maybe one day he could have come up and be a bench guy for us. But with Tyler Heineman, this is my thinking. I know we lost. If you think about all those transactions, we lost. Yeah. Right? We definitely lost. But I'm thinking this. If, worst case scenario, you got Danny Jansen who goes down with an injury, you got Alejandro Kirk that goes down with an injury, who knows this pitching staff better than anybody in the Blue Jays system? The ones who are on the current roster right now, the ones who are pitching for the Blue Jays right now, who knows them better than anybody? It's Tyler Heineman. He played with us last year, and it was a short sample size, but he had to get adjusted. He had to get accustomed. He had to learn the team. So if you're looking in your system, who knows him better than anybody? Maybe I'm wrong about this, but that's my thought, is let's go out, let's get this guy as depth, because we don't think anybody else in our system can catch and call games and know what these pitchers are like other than Tyler Heineman.
Okay, in that sense, I do hear you. If you're thinking about it from, these guys. However, I will, just to come back with that, I mean, I think he had 15 at-bats with us.
I know.
So but 15 at-bats.
I think he was around the team for a good 3 weeks to a month, whatever that might mean for the Blue Jays.
I guess, I do think that they like him as a locker room presence. Yeah. Now, the one thing is that we do have a guy in the minors in AAA. His name's Brantley, I think. He's apparently popping off. He's catching. Yeah. So, I mean, that's, again, it's just a lot of weird question marks. I think that really what this says is that they just really like Tyler Heineman now as opposed to last year. So, there you go.
Again, I think it's an emergency situation where if Danny goes down, if Kirk goes down, you need someone to catch a game. Who can catch a game? We're not worried about offense. We're not worried about anything like that, because our offense is already stellar. We don't really care about offense. Yeah, I guess we're worried about who can catch games. That's it.
I suppose that's the weird thing, though, is because it's not an emergency situation right now. So I guess they're just trying to plan.
We're planning ahead. That's what it's got to be.
Which, it has to be a precautionary move. They're just trying to make sure that, they will be good if that does happen. I know a lot of people are kind of upset about it because we did just give somebody up for, basically
on
nothing.
paper, it doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make any
sense.
As
an organization and philosophy, I can see how that makes sense.
Again, if he is such a solid locker room presence, like they have talked about him being. With all that being said, we should get to some of the positives, guys. We were 5-1 this past week. That is still really, really good.
Yeah, we
5-1 is phenomenal. Pitching, hats off to it. I mean, everyone was incredible right up until this Chris Bassett started and kind of the relievers, busted out and whatever. But even after Chris Bassett gave up the grand slam, he really settled in. He was able to go 5 innings. Definitely not his best start ever. No. But still, the starting pitching has been phenomenal over the last stretch. And that's why we are just running through teams right now.
I know, and I wanted to talk about this too. Starting pitching phenomenal, except for this game. Yeah. Bullpen has been incredible, except for this game. You know, this game kind of put a sour note and everything. But again, like you said, still 5-1. And the offense was okay until this game. Yeah. And we see this time and time again where the things kind of just flip like that. But that's baseball, man. Nothing's going to be perfect all the time. So I'm glad with this series. I mean, this is a homestand as a whole. I said 4-2. I think we even said we could have swept the Chicago White Sox. And at this point, I think if I were to face the White Sox again, I'm like, all right, we got to sweep these guys because they're garbage.
They are not
they
anything
look
right
frigging bad.
Yeah.
And they made our pitchers look really good. I think that's why it was kind of inflated, I guess. Maybe our bullpen ERA and our starting pitching, that's why it's kind of inflated. But you'll take that. You have to. And I did not expect, though, an almost sweep against the Mariners. So I got to give ourselves some credit that we almost did it.
Yeah.
We surpassed my expectations, and it kind of puts us up in the upper echelons of the team.
For sure, man. For sure. And yeah, again, like good teams roll over bad teams. And that's basically what we saw this week, right up until the last day.
Right up until we did it.
So with that being said, let's shout out a few good people.
Yeah.
I guess big shout out here goes to Kevin Gausman.
Yes.
He's not the Jay of the week this week, but 7 innings, 13 strikeouts. Phenomenal game from Kevin Gausman. And also a massive shout out needs to go to Jordan Romano and to Eric Swanson. Those guys carried the bullpen this week. And again, I think if they were available today, we might have been 6-0.
Absolutely.
Right? If they were available today, we might have been 6-0. That's how locked in both of those guys are. So hats off to those pitchers.
100%. And now to shout out some of these bats. Like Whit Merrifield, another exceptional week. 6 for 17 with extra base hits, RBIs, walks, like runs. He's walking more than he's striking out. Like, this guy's phenomenal, man. So big shout out to him. He stepped up today into that 5th spot, and he did a good job. So appreciate him. And we got to give some love to Alejandro Kirk. Alejandro Kirk went 5 for 13. 5 for 13 with 4 walks and 2 strikeouts.
Shout out.
He keeps doing it, guys. And we were saying it on the live stream, but I'm going to give you a platform here in our set. Alejandro Kirk, should he start every single day?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I own him on my fantasy baseball team, and it peeves me so much when I see an X next to his name, like every other day. And I simply don't understand. Like, sure, I know that you guys went out, you paid Brandon Belt. I know that, you for some reason, you want Kevin Biggio to be this guy so bad. That catching and DH spot, it needs to be owned by the catchers, in my opinion. And if anyone is going to sit, it's got to be Danny Jansen right now. I love Danny Jansen. I want him in the lineup as well as much as possible. But Alejandro Kirk is getting on base like at a clip that is just ridiculous right now. His OPS is way above league average. Show me.
I'm gonna find it right here for you.
Alejandro Kirk has a 274 batting average and a 418 on base percentage for an OPS of 805. That's incredible, man. Like, that is so good. This guy needs to be in the lineup all day, every day. He consistently comes up clutch, and he should be batting 5th or 6th for us, like, literally forever.
We always talk about, like, I'm gonna bring it back here. We always talk about, Bo Bichette, rightfully so. He leads the league in hits, of course. But Bo Bichette, he's got an OPS at 862 and on base at 354. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., absolutely elite. Yeah, absolutely. He's on base at 394. Matt Chapman, he's popping off. No one's touching him. But who's second on the team in on base percentage? Are they going to remove him? They are going to remove him because
he doesn't have enough at bats.
Doesn't have enough at bats,
which is stupid.
But he is second on the team in on base percentage.
Yeah,
like, and it's not a fluke. We've seen this for so many years.
And it's taking Matt Chapman being Player of the Month to out him. You know what I mean? It's literally doing that. So I don't know how on earth you could possibly look at the 169 batting average and 246 on base of Brandon Belt and possibly in your mind think that I want to start this guy over Alejandro Kirk. Yeah. Never again. Kirk deserves a spot all day, every day.
Like, obviously, Brandon Belt's gonna get playing time, but I think, look, he's a $9 million, or I don't even think he's a $9 million dude, is he? I'm even not sure.
Whatever,
who cares? Like, you eat that money, play him every 3rd day, every 4th day, let Kirk work.
Be the guy.
Be the guy.
Be the dude. Yeah. For God's sakes, man, this guy deserves to be in the lineup all the time, man. Yeah. He is, definitely my favorite player. But it's because what he does consistently that makes him my favorite player.
Absolutely.
Let's get to the Jay of the week.
Yeah, that's right, Nick. This time of week, we always crown the Jay of the Week, the best player, of course, in the past 7 days, and it was close. Honestly, I was struggling. It wasn't Kevin Gausman. I was really considering it. Was even going to go bullpen, maybe. But there is no doubting this man anymore. This man is probably going to win the AL Player of the Month, so it feels right to give it to him one last time, and that is Matt Chapman, everybody. Matt Chapman, Jay of the week.
Yeah, phenomenal week once again. Chapman batted .450, an OPS well over 1, 4 ribbies, 4 runs, consistently coming up clutch. You saw him today when you needed it, getting the double, getting on base, setting the table. So Chapman has literally just unified this lineup in a way that I never expected him to, and is owning that 4-5 spot, which is just so good because it means that there's no easy innings for those pitchers. There's no easy innings.
Dude, he is popping off right now, and I think he has 14 or 15 doubles to start the season. Like, that's ridiculous.
Leading the MLB. So Chapman should undoubtedly win the AL Player of the Month, unless Ohtani has something to say about it.
It's either him, or Ohtani, or Mike Trout. Like, they're both doing really well. So to me, but I do think it should be Matt Chapman, just well-rounded over on all the stat lines.
Totally, and I mean, again, this can never be forgotten. But defensively, it's laser beams every time. So very good. Shout out to Matt Chapman once again. Let's take a look at this week coming up. We got 4 games against Boston. Don't look down on them, guys, because they are above 500 right now.
They're good.
And then you got 3 games against a team with a better record than us.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh Pirates.
Who thought that was going to happen, eh?
Yeah.
That's crazy. But let's get into it, guys. So we're going on the road. I think it's going to be, math quick in my head, 9-game road trip over there in the East Coast. Up on Monday, we've got Jose Berrios starting off the series. He's going to be kicking it off against Corey Kluber. He looks like he's coming to the end of his career, honestly. He's got a 6.75 ERA. It's just not consistent outings at all. We're hoping that we can take advantage of that one. On Tuesday, Yusei Kikuchi, Cy Young Kikuchi. His ERA is chilling at a solid 3 right now.
Yeah.
I think I made a video just talking about most underrated Blue Jay, and I actually am starting to really trust this guy, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Nuts. He's going up against Tanner Houck, 4.50 ERA. Alek Manoah's getting another stab at it. Looked a little rocky in his start against the Mariners. He's going to be up against Nick Pivetta, the Canadian, 5.11 ERA. He's off to a rocky start. And then on Thursday for the finale, you're going to have Kevin Gausman, our literal certified stud. Also, shout out to Kevin Gausman. Broke his own personal record for strikeouts in a game with 13. Yeah. That's why I was so close giving him the Jay of the week. But he's going up against Bello, who looks garbage, 6.57 ERA.
So, okay, but I mean, clearly it's got nothing to do with the pitchers.
It's all the offense.
Right? Because clearly Boston, they're above 500 with all these pitchers being bad. So it's not about the pitchers. And I also know that Chris Sale's not doing super good either, and that's their 5th pitcher. It's their offense.
Yeah, look at that.
Right? So we are going to need to out-hit them, and they are definitely good at hitting. We're on the road. Fenway Park's a difficult place to play. I'm actually thinking that we split this series.
Okay.
2 for 2. I really would love us to take 3 out of 4, but I think Boston, they can be a tough out. Some of their guys there can hit our guys really well. I think that we go 2 out of 2 here.
Yeah, I was actually thinking we're gonna take 3-1. I think we're gonna keep the momentum, keep it going. We got all of our pitchers are better matched up on paper than all their pitchers, and our offense is just as good. I like to start the year, their offense is better, but I think when we square up against them, we're gonna dominate. They haven't really faced our pitching staff yet, so it's I really do think that we're gonna keep the momentum. I know it's hard to say, taking 3 out of 1 on the road, but we've done it before. I think we're going to do it again. I'm going to say 3-1 against the Boston Red Sox.
Okay. Then we're going into Pittsburgh, and nobody expected them to be as good as they're being, but credit where credit is due. They have 20 W's so far on the season. Their story is one that you gotta just enjoy as just a baseball fan as a whole. What's going to happen here?
It's tough. I mean, they actually had a little bit of they had a postponement this weekend, so their pitching rotation's kind of messed up. But I think what's going to happen, it's going to be Rich Hill. You're going to see him on Friday, up against Chris Bassett. Rich Hill's doing decent, 4.18 ERA. Then you have Velasquez on Saturday. He's got a 3.06. He's one of the bright spots in that rotation. He's going to go up against Jose Berrios. And then Yusei Kikuchi on Sunday for the finale. We'll be going live for that game. So we're going to love seeing bearded Yusei Kikuchi going up against Oviedo. I believe it's going to be 4.78 ERA.
Yeah.
So this one is a toss-up, man. I don't know what to expect at all because, again, how are the Pirates going to favor, and we talked about this a lot last week, how are they going to favor when they start to face what I'm considering upper echelon teams, up like high tier teams, how are they going to favor?
Well, I mean, at the very least, at this point, they're a mid-tier squad. I mean, you can't possibly put them in the bottom. So at the very least, they're mid-tier, right? So I do think that they're going to be a tough out regardless. They're better than Boston right now. They're better than Boston. I think this one could go either way. I am going to say that we take 2 out of 3 on this one. Yeah. But I wouldn't be surprised if we lose 2 to Pittsburgh. I literally wouldn't.
I might be a little bit. I'm not. I don't know if surprised is the right word. I might be a little bit like impressed if they did take 2 against. I'll be like, okay, you are making a statement. You know what I mean? Like, you're making a statement. So I am gonna say we're gonna take 2 though. I think we're gonna have a great week. Yeah. I'm just feeling the momentum of this team. It's even though we lost this game, it's not gonna derail us. I'm thinking we're gonna go 5-2 this week.
All right. 5-2. I'm at 4-3, guys. You let us know what you are predicting for this week. Boston, Pittsburgh, all on the road. Whoops, we gotta get rid of those things. All right, everybody. That is our predictions for all of this baseball, Blue Jays, but we do need to get to our another segment. However, this segment is brought to you by Betway.
Whoa, time for your daily Betway breather. A quick reminder that the best place to bet is on Betway. Must be 19 years of age or older to play. In collaboration with iGaming Ontario, please bet responsibly. Now, back to the content.
The spinning fortune, baseball, colorful, future determining, stat analyzing, and it's a wheel that we spin every week.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. There it is, the wheel, everybody. What a fabulous looking thing that is. And Nick did some damage against me last week. He got the sweep on my week. So you did the job. You did the job.
See it. You love
off to an early lead. But again, if history repeats itself, I'm going to win this year.
100%, man. I mean, like, this is one of those things where I had a good month of April. I had a really good month of April, but at any point, you could come back and claw your way back into this thing.
Sweeps are huge, man. That's a big momentum
Sweeps are massive. Sweeps are massive. So, let's see what it's going to be this week, everyone. I will be the guy choosing what's what. And we haven't really got even a bonus player, I don't think, once.
And home runs.
Home runs.
There you go.
Damn, home runs,
What are you gonna do?
Wow. What do I want to do for home runs?
Yeah, what do you want to do? You want to let me go? Do you want to go?
Because, it's tough, because obviously Matt Chapman's incredible right now, but did he hit one?
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
Bo had 2. We didn't have many home runs. Kirk had 1.
Yeah, home runs are very difficult to predict, so I'm cool with letting you go here first, and then, I know I'll get a good player regardless.
Yeah. With that being said, I mean, Bichette is leading. Bichette's hot as ever. Guerrero and Chapman can run into one any time. I feel like, I don't know. I'll go. It's so tough. It really doesn't matter.
I think there's no wrong choice, man. I think all 3 of them are fine.
I think I gotta go Matt Chapman just because has the highest average and he's been hitting a lot of extra base hits and he's the hottest Blue Jay. So
that makes the sense, man. Chapman. I don't think that that's a bad selection at all. Damn, where do I want to go here? I mean, Bo Bichette really does look good right now.
He does.
He does look solid, but Guerrero could, bust out at any moment.
He can get 2 or 3 in a week,
Literally. I mean, I'll trust Vlad. I'll trust Vlad.
Go with him.
Sophie's saying Chapman or Springer usually hits well against the Red Sox. You know what? I'd love to be picking Springer for this, but until he starts really picking it up, I can't be doing it. We haven't seen the pop from George Springer yet this season, and that's something that's been missing.
Yeah.
So, all right. That's Adam's selection. First one. I will be choosing first from here on out. Let me hit the bonus player. It's not gonna be this time.
It's not gonna happen.
Unless
another. Oh yeah, we get another chance.
We get another chance right here. I spun it a little harder that time, so I'm hoping that I can get there.
What's it gonna be?
It's gonna push for it. It's gonna push for it.
Oh my God. Again.
Okay, I'm locked in right now. A little harder. There we go.
That's what you need Guerrero to be locked in on the home runs.
100%, man. I just keep hitting them.
It's gonna go past it. And
oh my God.
Oh, it's gonna happen again. K per 9 again here, folks. K per 9.
I'm more than happy to take my guy, Kevin Gausman.
Yeah, see, I was doubting. I was trying to big brain it last week and be like, Kevin Gausman won't do that again. No, he's here. And he actually leads the MLB in strikeouts.
Wow. Okay, there you have it, guys. No, I will literally take the league leader then in strikeouts.
And I think the next choice, and it's proven this week, it's got to be Yusei Kikuchi.
Wow.
Yusei Kikuchi.
I mean, he can get him. He can get him, man.
Yeah, I think he's second on the team in strikeouts, for starters, strikeouts per 9. So
shout out.
There you go. There you go.
All right, here we go. Final category. If you guys haven't already liked the stream, please do so, everybody.
Oh, pass the bonus player. And walks.
And we're going to go to walks.
Okay.
See, this one's always tough because the best guy at walking doesn't
get playing time.
Get all the playing time.
So here are the walks for the week. You got Bichette with 2, Vladdy with 3, Chapman with 4, Varsho with 1, Kirk with 4, Merrifield with 3. Those are the big boys.
Kirk.
You going Kirky?
I'll take Kirk.
Go for it.
I'll take Kirk, man. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just like, he showed that he didn't even play this whole week, and he still would have won. You know, so.
Well, if that's the case, honestly, I still think he'll do it even if he's hitting home runs. But I gotta go Matt Chapman. I mean,
that's fair, man. I mean, I was kind of thinking that too. Cause it puts you in a bit of a tough spot because it's like, you know, now he's gotta have an incredible week, which he has been doing.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, he's just been doing it, so I can't even fault him. So
so if Matt Chapman has a bad week, I'll probably run away with it. But if he pops off, then it'll probably be you.
Hey, if he doesn't win the home run category, maybe they just walk him a bunch. They're just like, we don't want nothing to do with you. We've seen you, Matt Chapman. I'm the Boston Red Sox. I'm the Pittsburgh Pirates. We don't want anything to do with you. Go on base.
Fair enough, man. Guys, that is our Blue Jays Today show. Comment down below your thoughts on all the things that we talked about today, the wheel, the upcoming week, the bullpen, literally everything. Please hit the like button on your way out, guys. We really appreciate you guys liking the stream, and all the above.
Guys, thank you so much for watching.
And
go Jays, go!